All right, so after a week of dealing with the fair and tractor games and tractor pulls, if you didn't watch those videos, they're on there. I'm back to working in the shop, and so when I was at the Napanee show, I was good enough to meet up with Clint Stam. Got a new bubble nose for the G950, new grill screen and side screens because I needed all those things, and a handy grab rail that goes around the propane tank. Because that thing is kind of hard to get off and on. I also hooked up with Chris Quatman and got the seat back. This needs some work, but I've got the pieces already to put on here to get a original seat back on the G950. And tomorrow I'm taking a drive over to G950, Ohio to meet up with Wendell Everett to get a rim that he's got for me and a water pump for the 302 Super propane, so I can get that back together and I can move this thing because tonight my job is to move the jet probably over in the corner where the 955 normally sits, bring the G950 into that spot, pull it in so that I can get to the rear wheels because I need to get them off because I picked up paint tonight for rims. I'm going to get rims painted this weekend and then get tires mounted up on those rims and get on the G950. So what I got to do this evening is I got to move the 1355 out of the way, and then I got to air up the flat tire on the 950, and it'll hold enough air to get it in the barn, so I'll get it going. You can see past all my used oil containers there, but I'll get it aired up. It's leaking around the valve stem because the rim's so rotten there. Hopefully it holds till I get it in the barn. Get that in the barn. You'll see I've got some, I gotta get those towels off there actually. I did a little bit of painting, some high temp heat paint on the exhaust there, and I also did a better muffler because the muffler that was on this was laying over here and it was just literally rusted rotten. You can see the hole in it there. So actually I'll walk around the other side of the barn and show you what I did over there. So I used the old Workmate and an old wooden flagpole that we had and made a little stand there, and I sandblasted that muffler and then high temp primer and high temp paint on the rain cap since it didn't have a rain cap, and on the muffler, and then I'll put that on there. I think it's going to look a lot better than what was on there, and it will function better because it's not all rusted out. So got to go put a battery in the 1355 and get it moved, and then air up that tire. I'm going to get the 950 running first, make sure it's running good before I air up that tire so I can just whip it right into the barn. A little bit to do tonight to, you know, a lot of preparation for what's coming. Gotta like it when it starts that easy, and got it backed out. So now I need to I'm gonna let it run a minute, then I'm gonna grab the battery out of it, put it in the 950. I need to go steal the propane bottle off the grill, and then yeah, one thing at a time here. All right, I got the repainted exhaust on, and you can hear the air coming out of there, but I got it aired up. So now I got to get this thing in the barn and up on jack stands before that comes any further down. You can see why I need a new seat. Come on, baby. I'm good with that for now. Shut off my propane because I can smell that someplace I've got a little bit of it leaking out. And valve stems at the bottom, which means water's going to be leaking out. But what I need to do right now is get jack stands under the back end of this thing, which I have sitting over there. So I'm going to do that real quick before I lose any more air. All right, got it up on the jack stands. I got the floor jacks on it just because I'm going to be messing with taking wheels off, and I don't want to risk anything hitting the floor if it shifts around. At least it's hopefully a little bit extra. I could put some blocks of wood under there too. But I need to get this tire off so that I can get that dismounted and get that that rim cleaned up for paint, and then the one I'm getting from Wendell I need to get cleaned up for paint. So I got her in here, and I did spin this one around to get the valve stem back on top because she was already making a nice puddle, because I think this one's still got fluid in it, or some fluid in it. Doesn't feel like a lot because jacking it up, it wasn't like this side was significantly heavier. So that's where I'm at this point. Of course, right when I start recording, I sneeze. So the rim is stuck to the cast center. So I just took out the taper locks, and that consisted of taking out the 6 bolts around. I'd already used thread chasers in the these 4 holes. You reinsert 4 bolts in to press against the inside cast center to push it away. You can see it's kind of tapered on the inside there, and these are tapered, so it locks it into place. So I've got that off. Now I need to either get the engine hoist over here or the gantry. I'm not sure which is going to be the more effective way to do this, and lift that off, and then see if I can knock the cast center out of that rim. Joe, I just talked to him, and he's like, get out the cutting torch, and I'm like, I'm trying to save this rim, so let's hope I can save this rim. All right, so when all else fails and you're by yourself, get out the gantry. So hooked the chain up, got the weight off. I should be able to hopefully pull that straight out. I might need to do a little bit more adjustment here. I'm not exactly sure how close I have it. But it felt like it was getting light. Yeah, I think we're good. And voila, you've got it off. The axle. Now I'm going to have to maneuver the whole gantry back out to lay it down so I can try, hopefully knock the center out of that rim. But that's where we're at. This might take a few minutes of maneuvering, so I'm going to shut the camera down here. All right, so the gantry is awesome. Makes jobs like this by yourself a lot easier. So far, I've got it laid down. I tried to pound on it a little, no results. I did put, you can see there's a red solution around, acetone ATF solution that I've used before. I've soaked around there and it's sitting. Hopefully it'll soak down through there and help loosen this thing up so that I can get the center to drop out of the rim. I've heard this is a real pain, and I guess I'm about ready to find out. Nothing else, I've got heat. And since I'm not saving these tires and I'm going to paint the rims, it's no big deal. But it's where I'm at. So kind of move the gantry back here where the Jetstar was going to sit. And I can put the quad back over here and get the truck in here. For tonight, the Jet unfortunately is going to be outside, but it's supposed to be dry for a few days. I hate letting things sit outside, but sometimes you have no choice. So that's where we're at. I will clean up. I will wire wheel all of this and all of the taper locks and everything. I'm going to move this in. This thing was set kind of wide. I'm going to move it in. I need to do some measuring off the 955 to find the width. I have the 955. Then I'll have to set in the front end because it could stand to be a little bit narrower for what I'm going to use it for. And how we'll work on that here. I just found that these two bolts in the top of that filter housing are broke, so I'm going to need a new one of those. So the bolts are snapped off down in there and everything's broke, which explains why this line is the way that it is. So little things like that I got to fix on this. Not a huge deal, but you know, we're making progress. And but I think this is going to make a real nice tractor when I get done doing the projects that I have. I think the muffler looks pretty good up there, all painted up. A lot better than that rusted out one looked. So I'll let this soak overnight. I'm going to put things away and I'm going to go in the house and relax a little bit and go see Wendell tomorrow. All right, it's Friday evening. Made a quick run over to Wendell Everett's and picked up this rim, which was also stuck on the cast center. He said take the tire off, heat around here, try not to heat up the cast center, and beat it off. So that's what I'm going to have to do. Although I came home and I let the air out of the tire tonight and I put a little bit more of the ATF acetone mix down and around the rim. Hopefully that'll soak down in there and help loosen it up a little bit. And the other thing I got at Wendell's, which is important, is this, which would be the water pump for the 302. So I think tonight I'm going to put the water pump back on the 302 so that I can get this thing running and then get it out of the way, because I'm going to need it out of the way to mess with the rim on this side, just to get that tire and rim off and get the cast center broke loose so that I can put that rim on here eventually. So that's where I'm gonna work on water pump. Saturday morning, bright and early, beautiful day today, empty trailer. 955 picked up from the fair. Just sitting there idling as nice as it could idle. Love the way that tractor sounds. So, got up early, trying to get everything done, that the little jobs, because I'm going to get back in here and try to get this cast center out of this wheel, and then get these rims cleaned up, and hopefully by late today, at worst case scenario tomorrow, I'll be painting those rims so that they can cure before old man winter sets in. And I've purposely doing this early in the morning because I've got a positive attitude, and I'm gonna just try to roll with this because I know this is going to be a painful process probably, but you know, if the longer I can hold the 4-letter words off, the better the day is going to go. So positive attitude, positive attitude, positive attitude. Just keep reassuring myself that. So that's where I'm at, and I'll bring you guys along for the ride at the appropriate times because I don't want YouTube to ban me for my language. So if you watched my tire changing video from before, you know I use the bucket to break the bead. That generally works unless you're working with a completely wore out piece of crap tire that the bead will not break. So did the next best thing, took the Sawzall, cut all the way around. I tried to cut the bead over here, and I'm not having any luck. So what I'm gonna do is I just cut all the way around on this side. I'm gonna lift it up. I'm gonna cut all the way around on the other side, get the tire out of my way, get the tube out of my way, and then try to cut what's left of the tire, the bead, out of there so that I can heat this rim to get that cast center out. And this has turned into be one of those jobs. So I lasted about a half hour before the 4-letter words. Just for the record, I made it a solid 30 minutes. So I think anybody that's done this before can understand that it was a little difficult to wait that long, but I did. So I'm gonna keep plugging away at this till I get it. I don't know. I should have just bought new rims, but it doesn't help. I still got to get the cast center out of this. And to make a fun job even more fun, guess what? There's fluid in them, although I didn't think there was. There's a little bit of fluid in there, so get to squeegee this out, and then yeah, this project is so much fun, let me tell you. So when I first came out here, my goal by 11:30 was to have the cast center out of this, and it's now 11:15, and I just got the tire cut off it, got the tube cut off, and I got water, calcium on everything. This is what I got with the rubber and the beads. I've cut it to this point. Now I'm gonna have to probably use the angle grinder and cut the rest of that off. It's the inside of the rim. There's the mess of the calcium on the floor. And I've renamed this project the U of M because I've run out of 4-letter words. I've got calcium on all my chains going up to my chain fall, so I'm gonna have to wash everything down. And so for those of you that watch my videos and like, man, he's lucky and man, everything works out, let me tell you, it's all smoke and mirrors, because today the house of cards tumbled on this project, and I'm not even done. I don't even have the cast center out yet, which is the whole freaking point of this. So get everything pulled out of the way, cut off these beads, and get this thing set on the floor. I'm gonna go eat some lunch and calm down, come back out, get the torch out, and try to beat this cast center out. I went in, ate lunch, came out, got out the torches, got the rosebud, heated all the way around it. I gave it 3 whacks with the spud bar, and the center dropped out. So, as frustrated as I've been with this all day, I'm feeling a little bit better right now. So, I did cut off the beads before I went in, and threw those out here. Do the tire out here, the tube. Washed everything down with water before I went in, just because the sun's here right now and it can dry it. So now I'm going to get that rim outside. I actually need to spray degreaser on it because it's got penetrant all over it, and wash it off, let it sit in the sun and dry out while I start working on wire wheeling the inside of that. And then I don't know if I'm just going to wire wheel or sandblast the inside. Let's just see what the wire wheel does and just prep these things for paint. And if things go well, okay, I'm not even gonna say that. We're just gonna go this one step at a time. The way this day's gone, I don't want to jinx myself. So there we go. All right, I got both these rims wire wheeled, washed down, and sitting out here. I painted the bottom side of the rim, which is some Rust-Oleum. I cleaned those up earlier this week, and I'm just gonna, I already cleaned off and wire wheeled the yellow, so I know everything that's on there is still pretty firm. And so I'm gonna get ready, and I got my hose out here. I'm gonna spray these, and hopefully this all works out okay. It's a new kind of paint I haven't used before, direct to metal, no hardener, only reducer. So it's a new one for me, but I'm willing to give it a shot. Well, the goal at the beginning of today was to get 4 rims painted. We have 4 rims painted. Color looks pretty good. The downside to painting in the middle of the day is you get a few bugs in the paint. So overall, I think they turned out all right. I wish I would have spent a little bit more time prepping, I guess, because they could look better, but they're not going on restored tractors. They're just going on working tractors. And I guess if I was gonna do it on a restored tractor, I would take a little bit more time. So I got those done. Now they just need to sit out here and dry for a few days. And yeah, so I need to start putting things away and live to fight tomorrow, because I got more I want to get done on this 950 tomorrow. Crap, I just remembered I forgot to paint the clips that hold the rims on. I'll do that tomorrow. All right. I meant to do this earlier in case anybody was interested in what I was painting with. This is Sherwin-Williams, which their logo's up there, but it's covered with the paint. Corethane myo-aluminum. There's the numbers. It's a little bit different than anything I've ever used because there's no hardener. It uses this reducer, number 15 reducer. It cleaned up kind of weird, just a different paint, but it sprayed well, covered well, and after it dries, we'll see how it does mounting the tires and how it holds up. But in case anybody's wondering what I was using.